vibrating through us. And I've listened to some people talk, and they mention how they don't feel in alignment when they're not giving in the way they should be giving. And it feels almost like a guilt complex. This one person I was listening to yesterday was saying, I know I should be giving, but I can't figure out where to give. I don't want to give out of guilt. I don't want to give out of obligation, but I'm here to give. And I thought, I've been there. And I don't know if you've been there too, but it sounds like definitely for Leah, she's like, it just kind of nags her until she has to say, okay, fine, I'll do it. And then it becomes a blessing to all of us. So, what is the thing for you that you've got to give, got to give? I'll talk about my thing at the end. I think we all know what that is by now because we've all met me. But what is your thing? And is that trying to come through you for 2026? And so if so, I have a way for you to get in touch with your vision. But first, let me talk to you a little bit about that maple sugar, of which we know that is the title. And looking at the content that was given to us from Home Office, there's a story about the Indigenous culture and how they mention the methodology of the squirrel. Now, they don't call it the methodology of the squirrel, but listen to this description. It is said that the Potawatomi learned to make maple sugar from the squirrels. In late winter, when the caches of nuts were depleted, squirrels take to the treetops and they gnaw on the branches of sugar maples. They scrape the bark, and it allows the sap to exude from the twig, and the squirrels drink it. Shout out to those squirrels for realizing that twig is not just what it looks like. It's actually sweet. I love a good insight. Okay, back to the story. But the real goods come from the next morning, when they follow the same circuit they made the day before, licking up the sugar crystals that formed on the bark overnight. You see, the freezing temperatures caused the water and the sap to sublimate, leaving a sweet crystalline crust like rock candy. What? Dude, squirrels, am I right? Okay, so it's called sugaring. And so the sugaring is the practice of patience, is what it says in my notes here. Waiting for all of the elements to align to create something magical. For the sap to run, you need a combination of warm days and freezing nights. Warm being a relative term, depending on where you are and how many degrees Fahrenheit, that's not the point. But when the sap drops from the spiles, the tree spouts, they pound into the trees. Now, if you've ever seen the picture, because of course I ran a few AI imagery through the story, and I have these pictures of squirrels, and because I asked for ethereal pictures. If I was prepared to tell the story, I should have been prepared to show you the picture. But it shows a mystical forest with what looks to be like a spigot screwed into the trunk of a tree, and then a bucket at the bottom, and the squirrel's like, can't wait for my little bucket to overflow. Now, we know that that's being silly, and we know that the story that we just read said that the squirrels do a different process. No, they don't nail a spigot into the body of a tree. But technically, if it ends up being a flowing river of maple, well, let's do it. So, the maple tree does have a sap. It has a running inner flow of sweetness. And the late winter, early spring, we tap into it. And technically it does humans do tap into the tree itself. And from an outsider, it looks like, ooh, that's a wound. You've wounded the tree, and you've breached the bark of the tree. And the purists might say, don't do that to the tree. You're manipulating the tree. But it looks like it's an invasive act, but clearly there's something else going on. Through this invasive act, you get this sweet sap that runs through. It's life-giving fluid that comes from inside the tree. The squirrels figured it out by gnawing on the twigs, and the humans figured out, oh, well, let's do that. And so by pulling some of the sap out, the tree is not any worse off because of it, although I'm sure the quantities must matter, but I do distract myself often. The bottom line is you're pulling out this running sap. Now, the life-giving sap running from the tree into your collector, then the humans patiently take this. They boil down the content, similar to the squirrel waiting for the nighttime to pass and coming back and coming to rock candy. So does the human boil down that sap to it becomes rich maple syrup, and then eventually it'll become maple sugar. Now, does the tree push back? Not necessarily. No, it just gives. This wound, nature understands. This is temporary. This is temporary. It is healed. It is just automatically able to replenish itself. Meanwhile, the outcome of this so-called wound is a sweet maple sugar, nourishing, adding a bit of to life. I know that's not a word. Can't wait for these subtitles to kind of explain what I just said. The point is, what looks to be a wound and to be something could be quite tragic. Is it just a matter of time? Do we just have to wait till it unfolds and it becomes the truth or the results of what the universe has conspired to create for us for our highest good? Could it be that? Could it be that in the moment that we judge because we don't have enough information, that we may label something as not good or horrible or terrible, but could it be that with the distance of time, the distance of context and overall the story, it might be clearer from a little bit of a further gaze? Could it be that if we backed up a little bit, what looked like a tangle of weirdly discombobulated threads becomes a beautiful tapestry with a pattern that could not have been seen unless you pull back? So that's the beauty and the power of the maple sugar. Like, that's the larger process that is happening, a higher benevolent process happening, even though while we're lower looking at the detail, it might look quite tragic in and of itself. It could be part of a bigger picture. And I do want to take you back to that thing in your mind, or I know in my mind, when I look at that news that Tamara referred to, I'm like, they invaded what now? And who did what? Come on. And then I think about it and I'm like, well, you know that there's a higher unfolding going on. This, among many things, could be used for the higher good. Just because the thing that's happening right now in the moment looks like it's for evil, it could be that there's a higher purpose that will be for good. And so we don't want to forget that there's a both and. We have to be able to hold both of those things at the same time. We cannot limit ourselves to a very maybe two-dimensional world, black or white. We can't. We have to understand there are many facets, there are many angles, and we don't have the whole picture. And at least it'll get you through the rest of the day and you won't have to hyperventilate, because that's also not good. All right, so we know that that's going on. Now let me take you back to another idea, because based on the topic of the universe is conspiring for our highest good, that's not a surprise. It's not a take that is new, especially if you're in this teaching, because Ernest Holmes in Science of Mind, he mentions that the entire universe conspires for our good. Even further, he says, the mind which we discover within us is the mind that governs everything. So the mind that is in us is that same mind that is governing all. This is the thing itself. This is the thing itself, and we should recognize its simplicity. This is what Ernest Holmes says. And that was in his book, The Science of Mind, A Philosophy, a Faith, a Way of Life, that whole big old sentence back in 1984 when they put that out. The creative mind is expressing itself in everything, and it's not as if there's different minds. There could be, though, how much of the oneness do we accept? So if we know that the one mind is everywhere and we can have as much of it as we're willing to embody, then that puts the onus upon ourselves. Now, what do I mean by that? I'll break it down. This is a very basic teaching, but y'all, it never hurts to repeat it. Okay. If it's true that the one mind is everywhere present, that there could be nothing outside of the oneness, I'm not just talking about the humans, I'm talking about all of life interconnected as one. But if we have the same mind that is the mind, the universal mind, then what could be the limitation? Why aren't we walking on water and curing the sick and doing? Well, it's because we're not willing to embody more of it. And so when Ernest Holmes talked about our embodiment of the oneness, it was a movement of the person toward the oneness that would make the difference. Because it's not like the divine says, no, you can't have more. I'm not going to let you have more. Huh? No. The universe, the divine mind, the overarching all it is, wants everything for us. It would never pit itself against itself. Okay? There's no higher principle of evil, or there's nobody out to get you. But what does happen is we won't let ourselves. We do not let ourselves embody as much as we can. We have grown up with limitations and we don't realize that we're doing it to ourselves. My favorite metaphor is to, let's say that you're walking by the ocean and you're lamenting the fact that you can't have water. You're not allowed to have water. And if you are allowed to have water, then someone gave you a cup and you can only have that cup amount of water. Now you're looking at the ocean, where's all the water? Don't imagine you want to drink the water, because then my analogy doesn't work. This is just water availability at this point. All right, you got a little cup and you're looking at a vast ocean. And all you're going to tell yourself, because this is all you have is a small cup, that the divine only operates in you this much, as big as your cup. So you go over to the waves and you scoop up some water, and now you realize you're limited because you have a small cup. Is it the ocean that doesn't want you to have more? Or is it the size of your cup that's limiting your experience? And this is the teaching. What we teach is, get a bigger cup. And somebody else might say, you need a bigger bucket. And someone else would say, why stop at a bucket? Like, we could totally have, somebody's gonna create the ability to hold a whole water tower worth. Why not? The ocean is not limiting us. It is our embodiment of how much we think we can have. And so if the divine is infinite, the divine is wholly available to each and every one of us, then the only limitation will be how we walk up to it and ask, may I have some more, sir? Please, may I have more? Hold on, I'm going to go grab a bigger bucket, and then, yes, can I have more? And then I'm going to bring a wagon. Yes, now can I have? Will I be seen as greedy? I don't know. If people look at you like that ocean is limited and there's only a small amount, it's limited supply, scarcity rules. If that's what they think, then yeah, you're going to look pretty greedy grabbing all that for yourself. But the reality is, there is no such thing as a stingy universe. We know that it's abundant in all of its ways, and that maybe the humans have created a society that have put more emphasis on something so that it can be rare, and then they make everybody else think you're nobody unless you have a lot of this one thing. And that's just the belief system. It's a belief system. The truth is, we have everything we need, and if we need more, and we think we're not getting more, don't we need to change our thinking? Change your thinking, change your life. What if you realized I have access to everything I need? Everything I need is already in front of me. It's already available. And only my resistance keeps it from me. I deserve to experience the best in life. Why not? Why not? It is our thinking that is completely within our control. And that is what we change. We don't have to change other people and change circumstances and magically generate a lot of piles of whatever everybody else thinks is valuable so that we can appear to be rich, or whatever the word that we're looking for. All we have to do is realize that we are already that which we want. We already have it in us, or else we wouldn't want it. Think about it. How can you want something that you don't already have? You wouldn't even be aware of it. So, I'm saying all that because I want you to get ready to think about your vision for yourself for 2026. Now that I hope I've swept away the cobwebs of maybe some sense of lack and limitation and not good enough that may have crept in from news, social media, friends who are kind of scared of everything, anyone who's looking at things they don't want, obsessively doom scrolling about things they don't want, and then wondering how come they can't create the life they want. Ma'am, we have to stop looking at what we don't want and then trying to what? Flashy thingy like for the Men in Black movie? Just kind of forget I saw that and start thinking about what I do want. Is that how that works? You definitely start to turn away. And I don't mean negate, I don't mean ignore, and I don't mean act like it's not there. I mean turn away from the undesirable effects of whatever you're going through. Turn away from it because it has no truth. It has no underlying principle. It's not based in reality. It's usually based in fear and a sense of lack. So we move away from that and toward where we're going. And then where we're going is something now we get to choose, and we move toward that vision. So my question is, what is it that has been kind of nagging at you? What is your song that won't leave you alone, like Leah on the train? What is that feeling that makes you just, you want to follow it, but you're not sure? What is that? And then what is the truth about it? What is the truth about you? And so for an example, so what I'll mention is this. There are some things that take a long time. And I'm not going to say they really take a long time. I'm just going to say we think they take a long time. So let's just say, for example, you really want this destination. You have a goal. I'm going to pick something like you want to be a movie producer and you want to create movies. But it seems like you're so far away from creating movies, directing and writing scripts. It seems so far away. So you're slogging through every day doing what you're led to do, but it just feels like you're not making any progress. And I would just ask you a couple of things. Are you doing everything that comes up that's yours to do? Now, some things will come up, like my friend yesterday who said, I feel guilty. A lot of people need things. I have things, but I don't know if that's mine to do. That's the first thing. Figure out what is yours to do. Something that, like Leah on the train, is yours to do because it's coming through you and you have what you need. And you just doubt yourself. Well, that's one of those. If you have what you need, other people can be blessed by it. Just do it. Just do it. Do a little baby step at a time. And if that's happening, if you are definitely moving, but you feel like you're not moving fast enough, that second part is none of your business. The first part, am I doing what I'm called to do? Yes, do it, period. And then you'll get a lot of new insights and new inspirations on your way. Keep looking at what you want and doing what you can and moving forward. It's none of your business if you don't have the reach. I don't care about reach. Forget reach. Who cares how many views you got, how many likes you got, how many followers? If y'all don't get out of my face with that, because then what happens is you start drifting off your vision and trying to maintain these views, followers, and likes. Those aren't real. Your reach is going to be determined by your readiness. All right. So you do what you were told to do in this moment. You do what you can today. You serve that impulse to give back, and you know it's going to bless somebody. And you keep moving. You don't look at what you don't want. You keep your eyes on what you do want. None of your business what your reach is. But I want to tell you that your impact will be proportional to whatever you can hold. Whatever you can hold, whatever your inner makeup can support. That will be your impact. That will be your audience. That will be the amount, that how far out the ripple goes. And if it feels like it's taking a long time, are you judging your ripple? Are you judging how far you're reaching? You're comparing it to someone else? Well, I want to say this. Maybe the divine is creating in you a webbing, a little I call it a webbing. That's the image I get. It's like this network of resilience inside your body. I don't even know if it's a real thing. It's probably not. It's just a mental construct of resilience and grit and the ability to withstand that negative gaze, the ability to withstand a setback, the ability to know who you are in the face of everything else. And if you haven't built that up, that's why the reach isn't reaching far. Because have you seen an overextended person? They collapse. You can't. Come on. So we grow slowly. We don't judge it. We do what we're supposed to do. We listen to the divine. We do the next impulse. We keep going, creating whatever we're told to create, doing whatever we're told to do. And then the universe builds it builds webbing. And I feel like the webbing that comes to me, and I don't even know if it's called that, but it's like an internal scaffolding that lets you hang additional experience off of it so you can become stronger. And I feel like even the reach is part of that webbing, that then as you get people around you and you're making that impact, that's part of that webbing that goes out. And you're not supposed to grow faster than the tension can hold. Like, think about a suspension bridge. It's done a certain way that can hold a certain load, and if you put too much on it, it's not going to be good. So I want us all to stop searching and seeking for whatever validations come from the outside or whatever it might look like. If we don't know what it's going to look like. We just know how it's supposed to feel. And so let's go into 2026 with an idea about how we want to impact the world, what it's going to feel like, and then just keeping our minds and our innards on that goal and ignoring everything else. Not ignoring it to the degree that now you seem like a cold, business only focused person. No, because each one of you here, you have a heart that's bigger than ever. And the problem is sometimes that big heart keeps you from following your goals. There will be a balance there, especially if you put that in the mix. Your vision for 2026 should involve you seeing yourself in a certain capacity in this life, blessing other people with your gifts, and it should focus on how that feels, and it should support other people's unfoldment as well. And if you do those things, then who gonna stop you, boo? Who gonna check you? Nobody's checking you because you are in alignment with the divine. How can you not? So that's what I'm saying. And now for me, my thing is, of course, as you all know, I can't help it. I eat, drink, and sleep technology. And I was telling everyone yesterday, we were on a dream study or tarot, one of our groups. I was saying how I teach a bunch of people how to do all this technical stuff. Fine. I do that because I have to eat. But as I'm teaching what am I teaching? Like the auto zones and the HSBC and this bank and the other bank and the Macy's as I'm teaching those people how to run their corporations, I'm also thinking, I can't wait to hang up off of this class because I need to immediately do what I just taught. I need to do it for me. In this ministerial position, leading CSL, one of our centers, oh, the way the manual stuff is killing me. Oh my gosh, the way the PDFs are giving me anxiety, and the Word documents and the words and the more words, and there's even more words. What if I just turn my skills toward that? Let's use it for good in that way. So everything I teach, I turn around and do it. And of course, then I end up having this explosion of apps that are now available to make all of our lives easier as we do journals and as we fill out, forms and scenes and we do homework and everything we're learning, even visioning. The visioning tools, cutting out pictures from a magazine. Who has a magazine? I don't have a magazine. You got a magazine? All right, fine. So you could do an image search. Now you got to print it out and cut it out and glue it. Girl, please, we have AI. So that's what I came here to do that too. So everything I learn, everything I teach, I turn around and use it, and it happens for CSL. And I mean, I don't care. Again, I do not care if the global organization embraces it and stands me up on stage. Nope. No, I mean, they can have it if they stumble across it, but what we're not going to do is try to focus on some big thing when I'm trying to just take baby steps and not mess up my inner scaffolding and make sure I serve the people who are here to be served. That's all I'm supposed to do, and the rest will take care of itself. I guarantee it. And so, yeah, we have a thing at 1 o'clock. It's not sold out. You can join us, but Tamara will tell you more about that in the announcements. I just want everybody to know there's a higher purpose for everything. What looks like a wound and looks like trauma, okay, fine. Some things are kind of, even forest fires have a higher purpose, but also flee the forest fire. Like, two things can be true at the same time. Let's get through everything that happens this year with an eye toward making sure this moment we're okay, we're safe, and everybody's good, and then understanding there's a higher purpose for all of it. And we do not need to believe any doom and gloom and final scenarios just to be scared. So that's all I got to say about that. I hope that you're as energized as I am. This was me trying to be calm. Girl, it's a lot, but I'm here for all of it. I'm grateful for all of the energy that the divine finds fit to give me, because I'm here for it. Let's go into our prayer. Let me check the prayer requests. Okay. Yay. So here we are, this beautiful time, this unfolding of a brand new year, knowing that there's only one divine mind moving through each and every one of us. It cannot be otherwise. It cannot be otherwise. Right here, right now, we are one with this divine mind. And as we realize this, we also, I know for myself and for everyone within the sound of my voice, we are making ourselves available to more and more and more embodiment of the divine mind, such that anything in our consciousness that is not in alignment with our highest good, anything that would seek to reinforce an idea of lack, limitation, of unhealthful, anything, any disharmony, dis-ease, that is simply released. It is simply not welcome. That only the highest vibrational awareness of good and higher good is present right here in our consciousness. And I know that all it takes is us to turn toward the divine, and the divine turns towards us 10 times over. So I release any resistance, any false narratives about not being good enough, about not being any kind of the isness enough. We know that we are always right here, right now, enough, more than enough to serve, to love, to give, and to show up in a way that makes the world a better place. So I speak my word, knowing that it has already been done. I release it into the law, which always says, yes. I let it